Greetings, everybody. We've gathered around the table again today for another episode. And this week we're going to be taking a look at what has come out along with Blade Show this weekend. Because that just happened.
Blade Show Awards. They like to give out awards. Do they deserve them? Meh. Sometimes. Do they get them every way? Every year. Every year. So we're going to take a look and see what we think about this year's choices on the Blade Show Awards.
For sure.
Before that, pocket dumps?
Yeah, I suppose.
That means you stayed.
Absolutely. Broken Skull. It's awesome. It's slicey. It's super easy to drop. I like it.
XHP version rather than S35. But yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I wasn't aware that it originally came in S30.
No, they now come in S30. Keep up.
Jeez.
It's the Blade Show Awards. Cold Steel didn't get any awards. Anyway.
It's his first time.
That feels biased.
Is that me?
I don't know. I'll throw out a 943. A little bit of a special one to me. Got a little engraving on the front there. So, yeah. But carry that one from time to time.
Yep.
So.
And I've got my little Spyderco Toad.
It's so cute.
It's a cute, weird little one for sure.
So
It's
schmutzy.
such a weird little knife.
Yeah, I like it because it's weird.
Gonna practice my stabbing.
And this week I'm not rocking a folder. I'm rocking this little guy.
Don't lie. You've got a folder somewhere.
I do. More than one. But I'm showing off this guy.
And I'm going to help show it off some too because this is one that I actually made for Paul.
Yeah. Phone little, what are you calling them?
I'm calling them a gnome dashi. Blade style is based off of the Japanese-styled kiridashis, and then Dennis wanted or requested a kind of gnome-style handle on a kiridashi blade. So, gnome dashi.
It's a fun little thing. I really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Great little neck knife.
So yeah, Blade Show.
Yeah.
It's been a show.
Yeah.
Man. So every year they gave out a pretty wide variety of awards.
Well, and I mean, we'll get into pretty much the basics of what everyone think our opinions on it. Start off with right off the bat.
Yeah. The first award that they announced and gave out was for the overall knife of the year.
Overall's kind of the big one.
Yeah. That's the one to win, right?
Yeah. And this year that actually went out to the Fox Knife Radius.
It's a fancy looking knife, that's for sure.
It's a neat one.
Fox is known for, pretty good fit and finish. So
Yeah, one of the main key features is that funky swoop around action for the opening. The little pivot stud thing.
yeah, it's like a thumb stud, but it's embedded in the handle as well as being attached to the blades. So not independent. It's not like free floating or anything.
And
Acts like a blade stop.
integrated
Thumb
as
stud.
a plunge lock
Yes.
type of mechanism. So when they rotate it open, it actually becomes the locking mechanism itself, and you have to press the lock itself to rotate it back closed again.
Looks like they're doing it in a pretty bronze too, which is
Well, some sort of bronze shred carbon fiber, I believe, is
Yeah.
what it is. On
even the thumb button.
I'm not sure what titanium maybe.
Mokamei it looks like actually.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Just up there on the fancy level.
Yeah, it's a spiffy version for sure.
So I do have to mention, and me and Joseph were briefly talking about it, the similarities with their locking mechanism compared to a Camillus Cuda.
Yeah.
Also, it took American-made Knife of the Year in 1998, so we're pushing 20 years ago.
A little bit of a throwback there.
So biggest difference between the two, the Cuda was a liner lock. The Fox knives seems to be a plunge lock. That seems to be the major difference, but it's very reminiscent of that old design.
To be fair, innovating in this kind of market at this point is fairly difficult. Things have been done and done and done and done, and it's hard to come up with something new.
Grant and Gavin Hawk, man. Every year they come up with something crazy.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
that's my only counter argument there.
And we were talking about that the other night, and it was the ZT Mud.
Yes.
Way
Yes.
back.
So weird.
Anyway,
I want one of those.
with the hawk lock, similar to your new knife.
Yes.
Completely off topic. But anyway, the fox knife itself, compared to the liner lock on the Cuda, which actually makes you engage the blade to close it, the fox knife, you really are hands-free when it comes to that blade. There's nowhere in there that you have to touch the blade path opening or closing, which is is a cool design for sure.
Yeah.
But once again, Fox, I think, stepped it up right before Blade Show, and we're like, we're going to pizzazz this right off the bat to get some attention.
Put a little bling on it and kind of sway the judges a little bit.
Yeah. And companies have been doing that more and more lately. And I like it and I don't. I think there's very awesome things that come out in January at the SHOT Show that deserve more recognition than they actually get, but it's just what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
So next up after that one was the American-made knife of the year.
Yeah.
And that went to the Microtech SOCOM Elite.
Which is hilarious because that's a knife that's been around for a very long time at this point.
Yeah, but still
modified.
made good.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, they have been updating things such as the steel type. The way they've done the machining for the handles has slightly changed over time. They went back to Torx,
which is a wonderful thing.
So there are improvements.
The
being made.
Sebenza's won awards for years and years and years and years too, right?
We'll get back to that.
Fair enough.
The button does also look like it's a bit of a new contoured button on it,
as opposed to like the round plunge that they've
what
had before.
Everyone kind of all knows and loves from Microtech, from Hogue, from whoever type of thing, is that kind of
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely not exactly the same as the first iteration. They've definitely progressed with it.
Regardless of what you think of the politics behind Microtech and what you think of the owner, I mean, the knives that they make, that company.
He went there.
I did. But I'm saying, regardless of all that, they do make excellent products. I've handled enough of their manual action stuff in person to think that, like, you know what? It's a solid freaking knife. So I'm not entirely surprised that they won that particular award.
No, not at all.
And Microtech definitely has been known to take an award or two home from Blade Show, knowing their history. Again, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And then after that one, still in the realm of American-made, the most innovative American-made knife of the year went to the Spyderco Lightweight Para 3.
So I don't know if you could detect from Nigel's tone here exactly our thoughts on that, but
And if you were looking at Blade Magazine's awards, apparently they tried to give the Mannix Lightweight an award. That is a photo typo. I don't know. Mistake. Yeah. It's not a Para 3, guys.
It's his first day. Give him a break.
That's not what a Para 3 looks like.
An intern sneezed at the wrong time. I forgot what he was doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, as Joe was kind of getting into there, you could kind of hear the disappointment in my voice.
Innovative.
Changing the handle material, really?
Yeah, and especially when it's something that Spyderco's been doing for the last couple of years with like the Mannix and the PM2s, and they did like lightweights of so many other versions. How is this one innovative?
They now have a lightweight Sage 5, and you guys heard how I felt about that at the major release.
The only thing I can say is it's a lightweight compression lock that is as smooth, seemingly as smooth as other like G10. And
I remember.
I'm not saying it's innovative. I'm not saying that.
No. And
it is nicely built, though.
Apparently, there were some changes with the mechanism itself. I think it was a Blade HQ video where they were talking to Eric Glesser about it, and he said there were some kind of machining changes they had to make. There was some innovation behind it. I mean, until I get one in hand, it's going to be hard to see exactly what that is. But at the end of the day, you're just changing the handle material.
I'm not saying that Benchmade with the Outlast on a dual blade access lock system is just as innovative as the Para 3 Lightweight.
No.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's the
They're
bar
on the same level.
that they set for each other. Is like either one of them are just like,
hey, look, it's the same thing we've done before.
Yeah.
Innovative.
Exactly.
Not a bad knife. I wouldn't argue innovative, though.
No.
Now, on the flip side to that, this year's most innovative imported knife of the year.
Mm-hmm. The We Knife 037.
Yeah.
I like the way this thing's screwed together. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's funky. It's actually got little plates that sit inside of the spine of the handle, and the torque screws come down into the spine to nest those plates tighter, and that squeezes the handles together.
It's weird.
Different. It's different than stuff you normally see.
Innovation in an odd form, but
Yeah.
know
It is innovative.
yeah.
You could argue innovation for innovation's sake.
Hmm.
Strictly speaking, necessary? I wouldn't think so. But
Yeah.
in terms of it's a different, yeah. I'm interested to see how those kinds of handles hold up over time.
Hmm.
I'm also very curious to see how much under the radar this knife would have been if they hadn't won the award.
Yeah.
If this technology had been just like another, like something weird going on over there, but like it's a whatever tie lock, it's a
Yeah,
whatever
it's
Van
hard to say.
Hoyk CRKT, but all of a sudden they get some light shined on them, and you might see this knife get a lot more hype from Wee Knives.
Might see other versions from Wee Knives with that same thing in that next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I won't hate that.
Yeah.
No.
So next up was the Best Buy of the Year award, and that went to the CRKT CEO.
I like that little knife.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
want
the
it
one
in
with the little
D2.
pill crusher on the bottom,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That's the,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
little
one, the
doctor's
CEO.
knife.
Yeah. A little bit of Mad Men going on. It's all good.
Little
It's how you get you through your day when you're a CEO.
little bump off a switchblade.
Yeah. Now, am I going to call out that it's back-to-back years for CRKT winning the Best Buy award, and maybe they're paying off Blade Show and maybe Smoking Out and Knives Works to win it? But I'm just saying, it's
Yeah,
Spoken out who?
Do you think they're the only ones doing that?
I don't know. We definitely had that kind of theory last year, especially because
Kliego.
it was then the Kliego was the Blade Show
Yes.
Knife of the Year.
yeah,
Yes.
I haven't heard about any Blade Show Knife of the Year this year, so
the official.
Well,
and then
were
yeah.
CRKT not the sponsors at one point?
That's probably what it was. It was a sponsorship deal.
But I'm just saying,
Shouldn't be doling out awards to them just
there's
for that.
Rook
Yeah.
knives on the market. There's Civivi knives on the market, and you're telling me that the Best Buy bang for your buck is a CRKT CEO. I have a tough time.
How much
believing
does the CEO go for?
50
50
American.
American.
I believe
That's too expensive.
I believe the standard is like under 100 for a Best Buy.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure where the standard is on where they actually set it, but there's so many awesome
Well,
economical
yeah.
options out
G10
there.
versus plastic, 14C28N versus what, 8CR? Like,
so.
If you tweak those numbers a little bit, the
I wonder.
poker.
I wonder what the
Wasabi
rake
is very
knives.
similar.
oh yeah.
I wonder what the rake knives titanium series price point is coming at for this
Yeah.
year.
I'm curious.
And that went
I haven't
completely underneath the radar for the Blade Show, but there's 3 of them out there that have new titanium handles.
I have
Yeah,
a feeling
yeah.
it's going to be
one of
under
them is
2.
a Hussar, isn't it?
It looks like a
Yes.
121 variation, yes. A
Isn't
108
that cool?
variation.
I
is
need
the
it in
other
my
one.
life.
Anyway,
Yeah.
on to the next thing. We've talked about that enough, but I had to point it out because I think it's well worth noting that that's the category that I think is underrated.
So yeah, on to the next one was the Investor/Collector Knife of the Year award.
I wasn't
surprising.
I was not surprised by this at all. No.
Yeah.
To be
It,
honest.
it went out to a ProTech.
Of course.
I believe ProTech won last year as
Mhm.
well, if I remember correctly.
Don't they win every year for that?
They make some fancy stuff.
They make
They're
beautiful knives.
Kicking ass, and the artisans they have on team for the engraving work, for the inlay work, like
Yeah, the golden
holy-
lady engraving, the
Yeah.
mother of pearl
Holy
handle.
shit.
And
yeah.
I think Joe nailed it on the head when he said the artisans
Yes.
working on these knives, for sure.
Most
Jewelers.
definitely.
you have multiple names attached to each knife for different components. That's a
Mhm.
big deal, especially when it comes to something of an art piece.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, like the American Made Knife of the Year, the Collector's Knife of the Year is also an automatic, so we will never see one in person. The,
Yeah.
the
No.
picture that you just saw is the best thing you're going to get from us.
They
in
look
Canada.
pretty in the pictures.
Yeah, very pretty indeed. Yeah, and
Maybe,
it's-
maybe they'll do a manual action of one of theirs one
That
day,
would be
and maybe
nice,
maybe
but-
we'll get it.
That'd be awesome.
I also just have to point out that because it's in the collector's realm, it's going to be way too overpriced for any of us at the table.
Well,
I
yeah.
know.
so, yeah,
I know.
even if it was legal in our country,
It's an investment piece, and
Well-
as such, an expensive piece to put together.
Yeah, but even if it was legal in this country, sadly, I don't think you guys will ever see it on the channel. Unless one of you want to let us play with one. Yeah.
Not that we can,
can.
but
You
if
thought-
we could,
You
Yeah.
thought Benchmade Gold class is expensive?
Now,
No.
something you might see on the channel is the next winner
hmm
for the next award, which was manufacturing quality. And once again,
Chris Reeves.
shocking.
Yep.
pow, yeah.
He
So-
wins it a lot.
Yeah, again, and
Well, is it Chris Reeves or was it Tim Reeves that actually won it this time?
Chris?
Was it Chris?
Well, it's
Chris
the
Reeves Knives.
Chris Reeves Knives, which
Okay.
is
The company.
his company is his name, right?
Yes.
So even though it's Tim who's basically taken over things, it is the Chris Reeves Knives.
Of course.
brand.
I just wasn't sure who had designed it. That's what I was more.
I'm
talking
glad you
about.
pointed that out because as a turning point in the Chris Reeve company, some people did question whether quality
Yes.
was going to stay the same now that it has been passed on.
I'm excited to see that they got the award. That's kind of a positive sign that they're consistently doing things right. Like
Indeed.
I also have to point out, Lion Steel's off the radar this year.
Completely.
yeah,
The last 2 or 3 years, they've been fighting for overall knife of the year, manufacturing quality award.
Mhm.
Them and Chris Reeve have had this little battle over the last 2 or 3
Yeah,
years.
absolutely nothing from them. Yeah.
0 from Lion Steel.
Getting ready for next year.
I guess.
Hopefully.
maybe they might be getting ready to come up with a couple new products.
I did see like a little slip joint from them that had the
the
button
really
lock.
square looking one.
Yeah, it had a
Yeah.
button lock thumb stud on it. Like
Interesting.
I don't know what the new one that has that, the integral, the full size,
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Don't know.
but it had
Yeah.
that.
Regardless,
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the next categories was the accessory of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and that went to the Outdoor Edge Paraspark, they're calling it. It's a little tiny blade that's hidden in the buckle of a paracord bracelet.
Another thing that you will never see on our channel, at least not in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah, it's considered a concealed hidden weapon sort of idea in Canada.
We'll be back to you on that one. I might have a surprise for the channel later on. It might be available in some retail stores in Canada.
Really?
So
So it might not be considered a concealed weapon.
it's up in the air.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have an update later on for that
Interesting.
one. But
Huh.
yeah,
What award did it win?
The accessory
Parasol.
of the year.
Because the knife is in the buckle, they may or may not be questioning the concealment aspect of it when it comes to a belt knife, a
Okay.
hidden component, some things like that. But I might know a couple different Canadian retailers that have had the previous iteration of this knife on hand, so they might have this one as well.
Intriguing.
Just saying.
Already.
So,
Yep.
but having said that, this is an original. It's a variation of an original
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
It gets the knife or the award for the accessory of the year. And again,
Okay.
Slap a ferro rod on
So-
there, you're golden.
Didn't
Yeah.
Benchmade come out with a folding strop with a ceramic rod attached with a pocket clip that looked cool as hell?
That's a much better accessory of the year than
Yeah,
this. I
you
think.
bet it is.
I expected. I saw that on video. I'm like, that's awesome, and I'm
Yeah.
super shocked that took the title over the new Worksharp thing.
Yeah,
like they
'cause
partnered
it
with
felt
Worksharp.
like it felt like the Outdoor Edge one came out last year. It felt like. I
Yeah,
thought.
like this is just a
well, this was all like the original one came
Mhm.
out last year that didn't have
The ferro rod.
the ferro rod on it.
oh, but big
They
whoop
added a
do.
ferro
yeah.
rod and gave them the award of the year. And you
Again.
were maybe mentioning that they actually won it last year as well.
I thought they won it originally
Okay.
too.
Huh.
So it's
That's
very
so
convenient,
weird.
very convenient that all of a sudden we've got this. And like you said, the Benchmade tool, as well as other tools on the market for
No kidding.
accessories that
But the Benchmade one in particular, it's like who doesn't need to sharpen their knives?
Yeah.
Like in terms of people who actually carry and use them. I mean, yeah.
and
They-
not to Benchmade fanboy because they have pros and cons on the price point for that thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's
my
another
running
thing.
joke when it got released is you pay more if Benchmade puts an aluminum pivot collar on something,
Mhm.
and you're paying too much money for this item because it has an aluminum pivot
What's-
collar on
Do you
it.
know what the MSRP is on that guy?
50 American, I believe.
Nope, still willing to pay for it.
Yeah, and it's cool.
Of course you are.
It's cool, and it's got a bug out clip, so it's trendy.
Yeah.
But anyway, further on.
Yeah. And like how we were mentioning, even though it wasn't the actual winner of the last category that we're talking about, how it was a collaboration between Workshop and Benchmade, the next category for the awards was a collaboration of the year. And that went to
So they could have won this one too.
He tied
Yeah.
that together good. It was a good segue.
Yeah.
Collaboration thing.
I was trying, yeah. It went to a combination of Castrum, Lars Fault, Cassiberia for the Lars Fault lockback.
So again,
Mouthful.
a collaboration of the year, Lars Fault and Castrum, which is kind of an umbrella company now by Cassiberia, so they threw them in
Yeah.
as a three-way partnership. But they came out with a folding Castrum. Like that's all they did is a lockback on a normal Castrum bushcraft knife, and again, you're getting collaboration of the year.
What kind of competition did they really have at Blade Show this year Was this the only real collaboration available?
Well, that Benchmade workshop.
Yeah,
was a
that
collab.
would be considered a collab.
Again, not
I think
to
that
throw
goes
too much
yeah.
light on Benchmade,
Yeah.
but well, even
It's such a cool product, though. Like,
like ZT maybe had collaborations
With
that
different designers
like
and
Sig
stuff.
mentioned
Yeah.
Rexford. I don't know if the 850 was last year, wasn't it?
yeah, I
okay,
think so.
My bad. So
But still, even so, it seems like this is such a basic thing.
yeah,
It just doesn't. It feels weird. It makes me think that there wasn't much of a selection out there, so they chose the thing that was the best out of what they had,
Yeah,
which
that's possible.
which
It
is
was a
acceptable.
three-way
But
collab, not a two-way collab. Maybe they have rules.
Yeah,
You have to have at least
yeah.
three.
maybe.
because
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw some light on a really good friend of mine, JVO Designs, JVO, and he's been working with Riot, and he's been working with some of those companies that are no longer in the custom world, and he does some amazing work.
That
I
he
love
does.
The
Yeah, he does
Pena-
really
I love that guy's
pretty.
work.
The Pena and the JVO Designs together, the collabs, sexy.
Every time
yeah.
that pops up in my Instagram feed, I'm like, oh yes.
So I'm going to give a shout out to someone who deserves some credit
Yeah,
for some
no shit,
awesome
indeed.
collaborations.
Absolutely.
Way to go, Jared.
And it's also really cool that he's a Canadian and
Yeah,
fairly localish, and we've all had a chance to meet him and stuff like that. So yeah, good on you for what you're doing, Jared.
Not
cool
yet.
dude, cool knives.
Okay.
Not yet.
Fair enough.
One day.
Yeah. So
On to the next thing.
yeah, one of the last categories coming down to the end here was the kitchen knives of the year, and that went to a series, the Apogee Dragonstorm series.
So is this? Do they normally award them to entire series, or was this whole series just so damn good that they had to shovel it in there?
No, it's
don't
normally
know.
a design, and they normally put it together. Like Rainworks got one with a Ken Onion design, and I'm pretty
I
sure
see.
it was the full line.
Mhm.
I
They
see.
just give
Okay.
the line the award as being the most awesome set of knives that you can get for the year.
Okay.
What I was looking at, does that have like a feathered Damascus kind of look to it?
Somewhat,
I
yeah.
want to say it's
Yeah.
something of a dual core action going
Yeah.
on, not reminiscent or like
it's funky.
similar to.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's just a
yeah,
really
it's a-
pretty design.
Yeah.
Kind of almost feathery, but it's more like feathery is usually fairly symmetrical. This one's kind of one-sided, so it's kind of lightning in a way.
Like lightning's like directional starburst almost.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funky.
And then really digging the choils with the contours of the handles, especially
Yes.
on the cleaver and the chef's knife.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cleaver's my favorite.
Yeah, looks pretty fancy for sure.
I'd
Yeah.
love to get some of those in hand, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just kind of as a final shout out, I'd like to give praise to both Mel Pardue and Tony Bose for being inducted into the Cutlery Hall of Fame this year.
Hell yeah, man.
It's about time for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no shit, hey. Like, wow.
I think we were all surprised that Mel Pardue wasn't in there yet.
Mhm.
It was one of those minutes where like, wait, why did they have to add him? Shouldn't he have already been in there?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the notoriety of how many designs that are attributed to him, like it's
the dude's absolutely prolific. Like,
And Tony
Yeah.
Boat, longtime designer as well,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
been in and out of the knife world for many years. Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah.
Indeed. So yeah, that's pretty much our roundup for the Blade Show. If any of you guys have any comments or anything that you thought should have won or anything like that, feel free to
Let
point
us
them
know.
out.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That being said, Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
XL.ca.
And we will catch you again next time.
Bow, 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 bow.
We don't need bigger knife. Yeah.